What's up?
How's it going?
We're live, dude. How you feeling?
Feeling great. Getting started.
So just a quick precursor is, we've had conversations before, and among many things on this roller coaster of a ride of VeeFriends. And one time something ended up happening, and you had asked me a question, and you dropped some like serious knowledge on me on the DMs, and I'm like, holy cow! It was like really profound, and the rest is history, and here we are. So
In just a short time, it's pretty amazing how we get to know each other 5, 6 weeks ago, and now we're doing this. So I'm excited.
So what is this? That's the thing.
The
My
this is we are not experts of anything, I would say.
Yeah. So the idea was kind of brewing around to just have like a conversation about basically anything. And since we're in this, eco space day in and day out, there's a lot of interesting things to be able to share with the community, right? Whether it be personal experiences, whether it be current events and things that are happening within the space. You and I, we've gotten involved in some extracurricular NFT projects, which is, I would have never have guessed that this is what my life would be. The other day with the whole pickle thing, I've been having conversations with the guys on this pickle project or whatever that basically sold out in like 6 hours.
Unreal. And now every other NFT is adding a pickle to and doing like a limited edition of their version with the pickle.
The pickle came out of nowhere, man. Now it's everywhere. The pickle is on the streets now.
I think though what we're talking about here is just telling stories and being able to share stories to a wider audience about what we're going through to help them become a part of it too, because this is not going away anytime soon.
That is for sure. And like, it's a roller coaster, right? We saw Ethereum yesterday, and it's like Ethereum is, obviously Ethereum is the currency that buys the asset. And it's always like, oh, hold on to your seatbelts, Ethereum, and then it's like, oh, Ethereum's going to the moon, and then it's just this crazy wild roller coaster. And then even like the sales, like we could touch on this too with like the Gary originally owned tokens, like the numbers on some of these is mind-boggling, because, and rightfully so, because they're super strong tokens, one of ones with a whole lot of built-in value there, based on the whole like IP thing. And one Ethereum to me is different than one Ethereum to you, which is different than one Ethereum to someone that has 200 tokens. And this is just a wild ride, man. It really is.
I really wonder about these Gary originally owned, because he's no longer going to be giving them away as a giveaway in the Discord room, but he's going to be selling them. So how does the floor rise or lower based on what he sells them for? Will be very interesting to see. That's where kind of like we're getting on the roller coaster, and now Gary's going to decide how fast this roller coaster is going to go based on what he sells and how many he sells. Because he can't get into VCon without holding on to one of his own tokens, I guess. So.
That is so wild. So wild. Now, you yourself are a Gary originally owned, gifted, tenacious turkey.
That's right. Gary gave me one. And my situation was I could not afford to purchase a token in the beginning. And I did the hustle game. I think everyone's kind of doing the hustle game still, trying to get in on it. And I found that the best way to, if I couldn't get a token on my own, and let's say even I couldn't be gifted one by Gary, because like that's a lottery ticket right there. And
Right.
like a winning lottery ticket, a golden ticket from like Willy Wonka kind of deal. You give up on that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no FOMO, fear of missing out, on Gary's originally owned.
100%.
It doesn't work like that.
No.
But I very much had the FOMO of not being able to get a V friend to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, how can I just be a part of this community? And that's even where we came in, and how we were able to meet each other and get involved is you give up on being a token owner and you just go all ham on being a community member.
Yeah.
And you participate in the Discord, let's say day and night. I breathe it. You wake up with that shit, you go to bed with it.
Yeah.
But it's meaningful content. It's not like jumping in and telling people my story or my needs or my wants. It's not like that, but it's more like just trying to be a person, you know, real, trying to be a real individual in that room, trying to get to know people. And then when it moves out into clubhouse rooms and other discords of insider rooms, that's when the relationships build. And Gary originally owned is sort of a they could be random in how they're distributed, but they also could be given to people who just find that deeper connection in the community. And it's not enough for Gary to sit on the sideline and say that person couldn't get a token, or even that person has a token, let's say, but it's not enough for that person just to be where they are contributing to the community and not have something for me directly.
Right.
And I think if I went the route of like, I'm going to try and like get Gary to see me and get Gary to hey Gary, look at me, I need the giveaway or this, like,
yeah,
I'd be spit out the side, you know. So putting like helping some other community members, we put together some GoFundMes, we help people get on their feet when they were down. And we did it really quickly within a few hours. And I think I don't know what to say. Like when I won it or gifted it or whatever it was, it was an out of body experience. And it didn't push me in a situation where I'm like, okay, thanks guys, see you later. But rather it's like, no, doing this now. And kind of us coming together to do this is also my way of coming back and saying, no, there's something here that other people need to know about. That may not necessarily be about VeeFriends or Gary originally owned, but the fact that he, like you said, he gave me the tenacious turkey, like a tenacious person, you know, this is someone who's determined and doesn't give up. And I won't lie, I sent Gary DMs almost every day. And I just came up with a new one tonight. I give him these ideas about like what he could be doing with his IP. He never responds, obviously. Maybe he doesn't read them, but he probably does. So I actually came up with an idea tonight that I wrote it down so I can give it to him. But that tenacity, that sort of like not giving up is sort of what community is about. Put the NFT stuff aside, but like people matter. And if you give up on the community, then there's no reason to be involved at all. So that's where that's kind of what happened. And that's how I got it. And I think that's kind of what motivates me now, making connections with you and us putting this together, but also like figuring out how to improve the community and educate people. You know, no one should be in a position where they can't benefit from this, even if they can't get a token. And with Gary's announcement today, it's unlikely anyone else is going to be given a token. Maybe 1 or 5 people in the next 6 months, but it doesn't seem like anyone else is, unless they have a lot of Ethereum to buy one.
Yeah, I mean the originally owned, but it's in its own stratosphere now. It's in like I would have never guessed. I mean, we could all like never guess, but the recent sales that have like in very, very, very big characters, it's like, holy bajoli, like these things it's crazy, man.
So could we talk about that for a second? Because it seemed like there was, when the first ones were selling, the first one was for 7 Ethereum, I think. That was a core. And then the next one was 14 Ethereum. And then it went up to 21. And now it's like 55 and
70 yesterday. 70.
70.
Yeah. I think I'm not familiar with DraftKings, but it's I think his name is Matthew Kalish, which Gary has a relationship with him. I think they actually did like a podcast yesterday or today or something to that effect. Look, there's so much information, it just piles on all the time. It's just like way too much info, and it's like it's hard to like grab it all. But
and we're like, as people on the ground, we're just getting the drops of whatever Gary gives us. It's like, who knows what he's actually telling this guy on the phone. Like, if you go and buy that, XYZ.
who knows what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, who knows? But we know that it's huge. That's why, like, we could be doing anything else in the world. You know what I mean? Like, we could be hanging out in any other community in the world. You know what I mean? It's not like nobody's handcuffed us and said, hey, listen, you have to be here and whatnot. But the thing of it is so real, and it's very compelling. You know what I mean? Like, the community is very, very compelling. And then just like what you were saying before about, you know, how you want to be able to provide, you know, and this is thrown around so much, but like, you want to be able to provide value to the community. You want to be known as a person that is able to provide value to the community. And that's really clear. And, you know, like, for example, when that thing, like when you won on that giveaway, we had, you know, in the insiders thing, we had like video. You remember this, right? We were on the thing with video, and we were just kind of jamming and partying, and just, it was
Right.
like a little party. It's like, you know, digital party. And I can't remember how many of us were there, but there were quite a lot of us. And
25 at least at one point.
yeah, there was a lot of us. And when people would win, you know, they didn't necessarily need to come over, or I don't know if people were calling them over or anything to that effect. But when you popped up and in, we were so amped. And
Yeah.
I think it was like bright and early in the morning for you, and it was just the most wildest, craziest thing. And especially like 25 people in this thing, it's very hard sometimes because there's just so much going on and everyone's pumped, and this is like this whole roller coaster thing. But when you had one, it was just we could see, you know, because there isn't a lot of like video going on. You know, the clubhouse is voice only, and sometimes you miss that part of like the human experience.
Yeah.
And
that was actually, but I felt like that was the first moment like that I really felt the human connection. I mean, because we had been on the clubhouse for a while, and that's intense, being on the clubhouse, being afraid to get on, eventually getting on, figuring out what your voice is. But when we did the live Discord thing, the video call, I had never felt more real and connected. And being on the other side of the world, like it being bright and early, 5 a.m, like, you know, that moment though was like something big is truly happening here, that we're in it. Like, it's not like we're on the sideline or looking from above. Like, we're knee deep in this mess. Good mess.
Knee deep in it together.
Exactly.
Like, I will never forget that moment. I was like, as long as I live, I will never forget that moment. And that, like, just that whole time when all of, you know, and shout out to Vinny, aka Post, for, you know, being able to provide that platform for us all for that experience. But dude, it was insane. It was absolutely insane. And
I was actually nagging him the next couple of days to continue to do it every day, because it's like you really feel connected to each other in that way.
You feel the vibe.
I've never felt that. Like, I knew that social like media, and there's Facebook, and there's these other groups that exist where people communicate and market and barter and this and that. But like, what's happened on the Discord, I've never felt. Not since I first got like AOL and I was in chat rooms and like trying to meet people and like, oh, you live in Texas? That's cool. Like,
yeah.
You know,
trying to get girlfriends.
Yeah, it was like a like, for all you people watching who are like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? Like, we actually lived in a world where there was no digital chat and all that. We knew what life was like before the internet. So once we got it, it was like mind blowing. And so is this Discord. This Discord experience has been extremely mind blowing.
You know, the thing about Discord is it's crazy. It's a sleeper. I consider it like a sleeper. I mean, Discord's been around for quite a while, but when you think in terms of like social media, you think in terms of like, you know, the obvious ones, the Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok, you know, Snapchat, and all of these things, which are all very good connectivity tools, but they're like, a lot of it to me, it's like post, like it's like post-production. Is my camera like seriously bad or what? Is it being weird? Anyway,
you're good.
So it's like post-production, and where Discord is, you know, it comes from a platform of like gamers and gamership. And to me, and this is just my own personal thought on it, it's the most powerful platform there is for community and connectivity, and just exactly what you were saying about like the social connections. It's not necessarily easy to find social connectivity on Instagram. Yeah, you can, message and DM and do all of these things and post pictures and, climb the ladder, so to speak. But, what else is it there? Then it becomes a consumption tool, right? And the
Yeah.
same thing with like the Facebook and these things. Whereas Discord has the level of consumption and obviously has so much information, just kind of rapid, especially when Gary says anything, right? The chat just goes nuts. But what you also have there is you have the ability to have a repository of valuable information to be able to share among the community members, which, you don't really find that. And on top of that, the things that a lot of people don't necessarily realize, because, that channel has to have restrictions. So, there's going to be video restrictions. And if the Q&A comes in, there's going to have to be a platform where it's like, okay, it's a stage and you have to raise your hand to come up on stage, similar to like a clubhouse and things of that nature. But, when it's like democratic and we're all able to see each other, all that blind voice or blind text and blind all of that stuff just fades. And that's why what you and I are doing right now is very interesting to me, because it creates that extra level of human experience and, connectivity.
And we're going to be able to pull out those pieces that you may not, because of the 2-minute delays, or because there's so much happening in the Discord, that we're going to be able to focus on those little like bits and nuggets that people may have missed, or people are asking questions about, and being able to try, or at least trying to get answers to, and not being able to get them. So that this is like a like you said, not just the next layer, but it seems like it's an evolution of like what Discord can create.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, our thing too was what we wanted to. So, all right. So now we're in the world of like secondary sales, right? And obviously all that information on how to buy a VeeFriend, how to do the MetaMask, and all that stuff, all of those roadmaps were put in place as that project was going. And then after the fact, since now when you go onto the Discord and there's a lot of, okay, the bot is still there, which is excellent, because you're able to go into the channel and you see what previous sales are. I mean, it's kind of like looking at the newspaper every day, right? And then there's that next layer. And I'm finding when I'm having conversations with a lot of folks in the community, is like, they don't necessarily even know how to properly search on Opensea, or like, you always see the questions where it's like, where's the floor? And it's like, what is the floor? Or just all these things that, like, to you or I or someone that's, knees deep in it, understand how to do it. But I think sometimes, we're visual people. So I think it would be good to be able to kind of do a little rundown on how to Opensea, if you want to.
Let's walk through it. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Right, cool. Let's see, it's going to get complicated, and I'm not a pro at this, so let's hope I don't jam this up.
Shrink us down.
Let's see. We're going to try. All right. Let's see here.
It's a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids moment.
Yeah. Okay, hang on. But now we're in space, aren't we? Hold on.
It's like
that's
it's
space,
that scene in Spaceballs where they're trying to speed up the movie.
We're going to try that again. You know what I mean? We're going to try that again. We're not going to give up. Window. Let's try it again. Oh, space again. Oh, you know why? I got it now. I need to do it here this way. What do you think? Third time's a charm?
Always. In Hebrew, we say third time is ice cream, which means if something happens 3 times, the person buys ice cream.
Oh gosh, I owe you ice cream real bad.
Yeah, well, because it didn't work, you do.
Now I wonder why I can't, because I've done this in tests before. Hmm. Oh, I get it now. Fourth time. Fourth time we're gonna do it. You ready? Wish me luck.
Good luck to both of us.
It'll be worth it, I swear. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. Never again. We'll never have to deal with that again.
Oh my gosh, that was. Whew, I was sweating. I was sweating. Okay, so first things first. Just quickly, kind of what I do is obviously VeeFriends. VeeFriends will bring you right here, and it's just a bunch of stuff, right? This high pours for 10 minimum bid. Whew. Okay, so for someone that has no experience in this and just popped into the Discord within the past like 3 days and is like, what in the world are these guys doing? It is an
Well,
absolute...
take them back to the opening of Opensea.
Okay.
Because before anything, they get here and they're like, "What is this picture?"
What? Some of these are like super cool looking. The ones
They had that weird one of that mannequin with like a Play-Doh face on.
What was that? That was a while ago, right? That was a while back.
That had been on my cache though for a while. So I'm seeing it every day for like a week.
There was a super cool one with like the clouds, you know, like the like it had like clouds. It was like clouds. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Let me see if I can. Oh, it's still
I
working.
wonder how the algorithm of Opensea does this, or if people are paying Opensea to get their placements on the homepage.
I don't know. I mean, okay, hang on. All right. So you wanna do commentary or on how you do it? Like, how would you want to do it here?
Right. So first things first, I would search VeeFriends, because it's important that you're looking for the VeeFriends that has the blue check mark, because there's some people out there that are trying to scam you and take away your money.
There's one here. There's VeeFriend ETH, because I purposely actually misspelled it. So
yeah,
you know, it's very easy to get yoked into the wrong. You know, I'm not even going to click out because I don't even want to add to the. So this one here, blue check mark. The other thing I also like to
look at the number of items.
Yeah, 10255 is.
It's really a shame that they put it so far on the screen. Like, I mean, I wouldn't even notice that it had so many items.
Yeah.
So then you get to here, and these are, I believe, by recent listing. Is that how the arrival is?
I don't know. I find that these have been here for quite a while. So these might have actually been like the first listings. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But I mean, what I do right from the get when I want to figure out where the floor is.
Wow, there's a gift code for sale.
Was there? Oh yeah, 18.
Oh, wow.
This was just picked up actually 1575, I think yesterday or the day before. That number for some reason is familiar to me, that 15 number. I like to do this, and
I think that's a low price still for a gift code.
Yeah, 100%. You know, the Ethereum price dropped too, so that does some interesting things in the market too. I mean, we can get into that.
Could we briefly just talk about that for a second? Because there's a running phrase in the Discord that 1 ETH equals 1 ETH. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important for people who are just getting into this to recognize that while you may be monitoring how the US dollar, and I'll let you do your thing because you're we're not experts, but you know a lot more about this than I do. Mm-hmm. If that I look at these as sale in Ethereum, I'm going to want to just be thinking about Ethereum when I make the purchase. I don't want to be thinking that, oh, Ethereum dropped $200 today. so this is valued $200 less. That's not how it works. These are still valued at the Ethereum price that they are.
Mhm.
And that's important. If you can get in that mindset of like using Ethereum as the main currency, not what the dollar is worth in comparison to it, I think you'll be more comfortable using it as a currency than worrying, oh, am I getting it for the right price? Hesitation is out the window when you stop thinking about what Ethereum is worth in US dollar.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I like to actually think, and this might not even be the right way, but the reason why I believe that that's a strong way to think of it is I think about whales, right? And if you don't know what a whale is, I mean, you can just do a Google search. A whale is basically like, holy cow, one Ethereum is a lot to me. One Ethereum is pennies to a whale. We can get into this later on too, but I mean, there are NFTs that have sold for 700 Ethereum. Like,
and the behavior of a whale is they come in with that open mouth image of like eating all that plankton. Like imagine all the plankton are all the NFTs. That's the whale image.
And just basically, the way that I see it is like the whales are not thinking about, they've obviously possibly been in the crypto space for a very long time, and they don't necessarily think of it, and I might be wrong here, but I believe that they don't think of it in terms of fiat currency or, dollars or Canadian dollars or Australian dollars or, euros. I think that they've been in it for so long that it no longer is relatable unless if they're making entries and exits or whatever it is that they're doing. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm pretty sure that they're not thinking about it as, oh, okay, this one Ethereum token, okay, how much is it right now, what's the price? I don't think they think about it at all like that. I think that they've been accumulating cryptocurrency for a number of years, and that's that. So how do they think? I like to always try to think, how do the whales think? Even the same thing, like, we're all here, like a lot of us are here because of Gary Vaynerchuk. And it's like, a lot of the times I'm always asking myself, like, okay, how does Gary think? What would Gary do? What would Gary do? Like,
that's a great way to look at it.
Real quick too, before we get into like muddy waters, just the focus that I wanted to have on just, how we got here onto Opensea and like, why are we on this Opensea? The major focus is for anyone that's ever asked the question, like, okay, what is the floor? And yeah, I guess, what is the floor? Because, there's also been a lot of talk of like, okay, I'm going to try to flip up and I'm going to try to do, like, where's the floor? So I'm just going to try to run through this as concise as possible. So we got to VeeFriends, and these are all of the ways that you have it ticked. I call it, it's probably not the proper term, but what you have is you have these 4 little things here. The most important thing to find the floor for me is buy now. That's all I care about. And then from here, there's a sort list. The most important thing that I want to see here is price low to high. And I'm going to tell you, that's it. Now what we have here is we have the floor as 3.9. I'm sorry. Well, we could call that 3.9. This guy's trying to make a move. He's trying to sell it. You know what I mean? He's trying to flip it because he knows
that's lower than it was 2 days ago.
Right. But he knows that he wants to be the lowest. This person's trying to get this thing, he's trying to, he's trying to make the sale. This done son 3.9. So I would say that the floor currently right now is 4 on course. Yeah. And then
look at that first line. Those 2 on the outside balance out the middle. So it's definitely the top the 5 lowest sales are on average 4.
Right. And then on top of that, my next question and my next thought, like, let's just say, I'm considering this, I do this multiple times a day just to kind of see where the market's at. I try to read markets, and, if I'm involved in a market, I like to know what the market's doing. And if I'm spending time in this and passionate about it, I like to be involved, or, see if maybe there's going to be an opportunity in the future, or maybe I can pick one of these up because, undervalued, overvalued, whatever it is, but if I'm in the market, I'm going to try to help others that are trying to get into the market. And I'm also going to continue to do this because after a while, it just becomes muscle memory. So my next step is, okay, where are the rares? Okay, just doing a quick scroll. Oh, got a brown one. Rare 4.6. My next step is I'm looking for where is the orange. Very rare. So I would say that the meat of the rares are in the 5 range, actually. You know what I mean? Because that was that 4.6, but the meat of them are in the 5 range.
Yeah.
And then the meaty meat is in the 5.5 range, 5.5.
Yeah.
And then what we have is
our first very rare.
So we're talking about in the 6-ish. And that's really where it is. But there's a lot of talk of, okay, I have 1 token. I'm trying to flip up to a spec. Like, let's face it, we all want to get into the spectacular zone. And if you remember in the first, so here we go with the epics into the 8s. So if you remember in the first, when it was all first sold out, some of these epics were being sold for like 3, correct me if I'm wrong, but like 3 or 4, like very, very low.
It's crazy.
And we look back on it now and it's like, what in the world? Because
I mean, it's very interesting. You're seeing rares pop up this high, and this tends to be the individuals who are like, it's called muscling, where they kind of show what they have, but they know no one's going to pay that much for that token.
Yep.
But at the rate things go, maybe these will eventually get bought out.
In the crypto world, we call it moonshotting. So it's like, shooting for the moon,
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want it? This is my price. I mean, this is insane because we know the prospective pigeon is just unbelievable. But these cores got picked up for 2.15. Unbelievable.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable. And I see this as kind of possibly valued properly. I'm not sure. But I mean, the whole staple pigeon thing, and the whole, there's a separate role in the Discord.
There you just pass some golds.
So here's the spec, right? Here's the specs. Okay. So we're talking specs are 12. So the floor spec, yeah, I mean, yeah. Remember when the gift goats were 10? The specs are 12. We're going to call that safely 12. So then another thing, what I would do as I was here, just for all intents and purposes, is we have recently listed, recently created, recently sold, ending soon. Ending soon is pretty good if you're trying to find something, depending on how the auction market is going. But I also like to uncheck this at this point.
So just to point something else out. So I'm in the second market purchase. I'm trying to get involved. I'm late to the game. I missed all the auctions. You've now showed me how to find the lowest offer. What should I be looking at next? And I think when you see the floor, you should look at the ones that have the most what's called favorites or hearts. And if you go back just for a second to from low to high,
yep,
you can see that these each have 2, 5, and then 0, and then 0, and then 2. And sometimes people's interests give you an idea of what may or may not be popular and important in the game, the bigger picture of how these NFTs are gonna work. So the one that has 5 is just art. That's the category.
Yes.
It's not an animal, it's not a creature, it's not a person. And no one has any idea what this means, like owning this actual token.
I like Nachos. Nachos likes it. I don't know, that's got to be a bot. Oh,
but the fact 5 people have favored it means that this might be something, if you could afford 3.9, this may be worth picking up because other people are after it. And if other people are after it and you want to flip it, let's say, you'll be able to because people are looking at it.
Right. That's a very good point. It's a super good point to look at.
That's also a 1 of 20. It just said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are
my Tenacious Turkey is a 1 of 40. So not all tokens are cored.
It's 1 of 20. It should be 1 of 20 on the turkeys. All the cores are 1 of 20. No.
Ah, really? Then I must be wrong.
Yeah, all the cores are 1 of 20, and then when it gets down to rares, it's 1 of 8. Very rares are 1 of 5, and epics are 1 of 2, and then all of the spectaculars are 1 of 1s,
Right.
and then access tokens. The other thing too, while we're here and kind of discussing this, is the cores are the workers, right? So we're talking about the floor. The cores are in fact the workers, and what you have here is this area right here, conference, core, 46%. When we get to, all right, see you guys. Grandparents are here today.
Very
I live
nice.
a real life. I live a real life.
We both do. We live very real lives. I was just interrupted a second ago too. I tried to be as smooth about it as possible.
It is what it is, you know. You can see here, like when you get into rare, conference limited, 46%. So I don't know what that means.
I don't know if is limited a choice word or is it?
Well, here,
Like,
I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah,
because I wonder, like, I know we're now off topic a little, but like when you get to the conference, will there be
access.
five ways to enter VCon, and is one specifically limited? You know what I mean?
Who knows? Because look, it's like, you know, this is the core token, conference core. This is the rare token, conference limited. Actually, while we're here, another good one that has been having a lot of talk is this OG buyer. I have never seen, and I'm not the most versed in the NFT space, but OG buyer to me means something as a collector. So if I have a token and I bought it off the VeeFriends.com when they were available, I am the OG buyer. And I have one of these myself, and it's like, I think I might just never ever, I wonder, because at the end of the day too is, and again, we're speculating now, but if we have the token and the conference is set to be for 3 years, when it's successful, you don't think there's going to be a year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8? You know what I mean? Like, come on. So it's like
forever.
Yeah. So it's like, and Gary has said this is his IP for life. You know what I mean? This is his baby. We're all here, and it's a 3-year conference now, but it's not a 3-year conference. There's gonna be a lot of conferences year after year after year. I think. I'm not. That's speculation. Yeah. So. Wow, Clouds and Dirt. Wow, shout out to the name. Wow, V Hustler. Dude, some of these names are so cool. Like that that people have created for themselves.
So I don't know if we want to go this way, but you can see here there are other NFTs that are on the screen right now. That going low to high helps you find the floor. But what if I'm looking specifically for a creature? Let's say I don't care. Like I don't want his animals. I don't want his just art. I'm looking for the lowest creature price.
Okay.
So walk me through doing that.
So on this side, I gotta actually try to. Well, it'll still be.
For those of you on a mobile device, you can only access this side toolbar if you turn your phone
sideways.
Otherwise, you won't be able to access it.
Or I think you can actually hit the filter. There should be like a little blue filter thing in the middle too, maybe. Something somewhere in that space.
If you're using MetaMask, I think that appears. I think if you're only using the browser, it won't appear.
Mm-hmm. Here's another very interesting thing. There's a lot of mammals. So, to kind of button up the question, it's going to be under category, which is below buy it now. So we're trying to find the floor. And look, you could take this off and we can just look at all of them, whether it's auctions and all of that, and just do it low to high, and we'll just kind of do it that way. I use buy it now just to see just to give myself data as to like where the floor is.
I also think if I'm going to buy something for the first time and I'm lush in Ethereum and I'm able to purchase a core floor,
Mhm.
I'm not going to want to deal with auctions. I'm going to commit and do it. And I think a lot of people are like, I'm trying to get myself there. And once they finally do, I don't think they're there to buy with an
Mhm.
auction price. I think they're there to buy now. So I think doing the buy now was a great way to teach it.
Yeah, I think for right now too. I mean, I also think, and again, this is speculation as well, is as time progresses, you might be able to put in a couple bids and the bid might just hit. You know, it's a little bit of a lottery or whatever it is. But I mean, if you throw in bids, right, because the floor is also being created by, you know, whether it be bots or algorithms and things of that nature. And obviously, large wallets, Gary's wallet holds the floor up. The top 10 wallet, whale wallets hold the floor up. Um, you know, token holders that hold more than 10, 15, 20, 200, whatever it may be, you know, they hold the floor up as well. So, you know, I think that it's also, you know, to try to think about it in two sides, you know, I use the buy it now just to give myself reference of, you know, where the floor is. But when it comes down to like, okay, you know, and that's just giving us data. It's just base level data. But if you're in the position to get in on a token, I mean, playing around and making bids might end up paying off. You know, I'm sure. I don't know. I've actually never really went down that road, but you know, it depends. It's all. I guess it's all right.
With auction also, I mean, we've seen it happen where someone posts something on auction and Gary steps in
Mm-hmm.
and alerts the community that this is very low.
Mm-hmm.
Like this token should not be finished in an hour at this price when the reserve has already been met. So
Yep.
either if you're doing this, take it off. And he said that. He said, if you own this, take off the auction right now.
Yeah.
And if not, whoever can show it up should go and put as much into it. And I think he actually helped a core sell for 6.5 once
Mm-hmm. Wow.
when
I wonder what that
it
was.
shouldn't have been going that high, and it did.
Right. One also thing to note, since we're basically trying to talk about basics here, is, you know, and I'm sure we've seen it all before. USDC, this is not. Don't don't accept this. I mean,
Right. That is cryptocurrency, but it is equal to the US dollar.
yes, it's
So you're
basically
seeing someone bidding $3.40.
$3.40, and you know, we need to be smart about these things. You know, and really, if you ever need any sort of, if there's any question at all in your mind, and if you're like new and you just got in and you're really trying, like, or whatever it is, by all means. I mean, the community is so helpful in the Discord. Um, got to get in there. Got to get in there
And
and
at
ask
this point, it's like just
questions.
take a breath and step back. I mean, you would think, hey, who's going to actually do that? Well, it did happen.
Yeah.
And one person had to become the victim in order for us to basically make this a standard of how you should be careful.
Hmm.
Just takes one person to make the mistake. And there have been many mistakes along the road. I mean, we all are new to this circle. So
Absolutely. Another thing to note here is we're at the category because we were talking about creatures.
yeah.
So mammal has the most, bird has the second most, invertebrates. And then we go fish, and then we go creature, just art, reptile, human, amphibian, dinosaurs. So that dinosaur, guys, is the
Yeah,
dinosaur
that's
game
something
is strong. There's
special.
only two dinosaurs, my friends.
And they're very valuable.
You know, I'm kicking myself because I had the opportunity to grab up one of these on the VeeFriends site because I was making a decision on which core,
Yeah.
and I had to look up this word truculent because I didn't know what it was, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of a dirty word, and
Yeah.
yeah, wow. So what was the creature? So creature low to high. See
Yeah.
what's happening, and these are bids.
So let's go to the buy now.
Yeah, it's going to be bad intentions. We could pick up
Yeah.
by, you know, bad intentions for 5.
So you see the floor of the creatures is up an entire Ethereum from
Yeah,
the general buy it now.
I wonder what we have on recent sold. So I mean, if you kind of see what we're doing here too, is it's like you got to kind of play around. Wow, four,
That's a
five,
lot.
4, 5, 5. So yeah. Wow, I didn't know Heart Trooper was under creature.
Wow, that elf is selling for 15.
Well, it's listed for 15,
Right.
but it
I don't
did.
know if that's a flex. I think that's a legitimate, I want to sell this for that much money.
Yeah, or like Moonshot. It's a Moonshot, because think about it. If someone's going to pick this up, and again, this is speculation, then you can go back and you can pick up two other cores, right? And plus, we don't. There's new information that comes out every day in the community based on the characters and the IP, and Gary's constantly works 24/7, and he's obviously working on it and things of that nature. And there's just, creatures are big. That's why, that's why you wanted to bring up creatures. This ambitious angel, I think, is very close to Gary's heart because obviously he's been an angel investor on many successful projects.
Yeah.
That's the way that I see it. There's a star in there. Like, come on. When you go in there, we've got signatures. This has everything that you want to see in a collectible. You know what I mean? Like, this has everything you want to see in a collectible. So shout out to Zvac. Zvac. So yeah. What else should we take a look at here to be, at least helpful to anyone that is
right. So what I thought would be just interesting, because this isn't a VeeFriends show. I think that it's important that if you just go to the Opensea and you're looking to get started, let's say, that you should be able to just get start. Like in general, you should be able to type in whatever you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't, like here we led you down the road of VeeFriends, but if you're looking to buy a Arabian Camel, or you're looking to buy a dream loop, for instance, it's very easy to get what you need, as long as I want to focus on that check sign. It's like you want to make sure that you're getting things that are verified. Usually the larger projects are verified collections. There are plenty of people on here that are selling their own stuff, which is great. You could totally help members of your own community, of this community that we're in, and like people will create NFTs that are fun to collect. But it's these larger collections that typically get people thinking, how can I get a VeeFriend? I got to go to these other collections, find the right ones, buy them up, flip them, and so forth.
I got to tell you, the Arabian Camel thing has been pretty interesting to me. I don't know if you've heard about it or anything, but the creator behind it, Master Buzz, has been popping up in clubhouses and basically has been just gifting them to wallets. And
I got one.
Yeah, I
asked him and he gave me one.
I also got one too. That's why I wanted to kind of bring it out there. And look, this isn't something that he has to do. This doesn't have anything to do with anything. So what that tells me, again, and going back to like what we were saying about all of this, is this community has a lot of legs. Whether it be, if the community, like if there's a good purpose behind it, it shines through bright. And there's a lot of opportunity here to do big things. And we talked about this before, about like synergy. And if I have a cart and it weighs a ton and I'm trying to pull this cart with rickety broken wheels, it's going to be really hard. If now I have another person that's helping me through the cart, it's so much easier.
Right.
And then if each of us pull in one other person, now it's not 2 to 3, it's exponential, 4. And I'm probably not explaining it right, but you know what I mean. You get the gist.
Look, we're not here to tell people financially how they should be spending their money and whatnot, but if you get word of a project that's of a larger collection giving away after the sale free NFTs, this isn't a boat is sinking, the ship is sinking type of fire sale type of thing. It's no. I want to bring more people into this because we have bigger prospects. And the Camels have already shown that with a new Discord room. they're selling land now so people can mate the camels together. I mean, there's a whole new structure involved that other NFTs aren't doing.
For sure, for sure. Have you seen this degen data yet? This is super.
We had talked about it briefly, but I have not dove in.
Well, you know, like I'm like a data guy. Like, I mean, I'm not like a data guy. I'm like a data hobbyist. Like I love data, and I love charts, and I love critical thinking, and I love markets, and I love communities, and I just, all of this to me is like, you know, I've died and gone to heaven. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so I think this is aesthetically pleasing personally. Like I enjoy looking at charts too, but like, let's say I'm told to go here because I was in the Discord, I'm not immediately going to know what I'm looking at.
Right. And I got to tell you, I haven't spent a ton of time here, so I'll try to run it down for you. So basically this area here is going to be total sales. On this side, this is total sales. And it's based on the day, right? This is a little bit jumpy. So if this, I think it's because of just my screen size. It's not really working out. I don't know. I'm trying.
I don't think that helps. Keep it the way it was. Yeah.
Okay. So this would be June 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, so on and so forth. So this is the total sales for the day. It's, you know, what we're looking at is we're looking at the bars. So like a graph, right? Like the bar, not so much this green line. The green line is basically what I would call a moving average. No, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. So the green bar is average Ethereum price per sale right here. And these are the total sales for that day. So here's 5, 6, 7, 8, and you can kind of see what's happening here. And then you can see what the average Ethereum price. My assumption on this is the average Ethereum price on the tokens themselves.
Yeah, we're already at 19. So how many were yesterday?
16 sales, averaging 11.37. And I got to tell you something too. I don't even know if this information is accurate, quite honestly. I like it for the data. I like it for like the ballpark data. It probably is accurate. It might not be accurate. I'm not sure.
Claims that it's pulling it from Opensea.
That's the idea. But here's the other thing too is, you know, you and I, we've gotten involved in other NFT projects, and another one that we look at is like rarity.tools. And I looked at VeeFriends on rarity.tools, and it showed amicable anchovy like rated really high. So it's like, So, you know, these things are being pulled through like APIs and, you know, all sorts of things.
Gary's never mentioned anything about that anchovy at all.
Well, here, look. I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about. So obviously here, and then we're talking number 11, amiable anchovy is rated number 11. Before Uno Unicorn and everything else. So
why?
It's again, there has to be something in the algorithm. You know, there has to be something in the API.
That's not right. That can't be right. Exactly.
And that's why I give that disclaimer that this is just data. This isn't written in stone. You know, it gives us data. You know what I mean?
I mean, that makes me concerned. For those of you tuning in, rarity.tools is something I'm getting more familiar with every day. I'm still not using it as often as I should, but if something like that slips in through, then I question the rest of the search NFT analyses that take place.
Right. It's just one of these things. I mean, it's just something that I noticed a little while ago when
those are the rares also. It's like, those are not even
right.
Something's going on there.
Yeah. So again, I mean, anytime that I use any of these things, I use it as just like a compass, but I don't necessarily say, okay, this is the gospel and the be all end all, and this is all that we need to look at. You know, it's just like, you know, we have conversations about cryptocurrencies and stocks and charting and all these things. You know, in these realms, the idea is to find confluence. is really what it is. Confluence is a word that I use a lot in my mind when I'm trying to reference, okay, what's Ethereum doing? What's Bitcoin doing? What's XYZ doing? What's Tesla doing? What's Apple doing? What's any of these things doing? I'm trying to find confluence within the market.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just going on to a crypto chat and someone's like, AMC to the moon, and then I take a look at it and it's like, it's at the top for that time, and I can pretty much say, hey, listen, this kind of looks like the top at that time, but I don't know, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade. But then I look back a day or two later and it's like, oh yeah, exactly what I thought. We're trying to find confluence here.
I think also you're demonstrating that when you're told, anyone who steps into this either it's a Discord community or what, you're told like, go do your research, like, and then come back. How many hours that is for someone like yourself, this is the type of research that you gain information from and help figure out which direction go. Other people their research might be Googling something or asking people in a clubhouse room or just listening in on a clubhouse room and taking notes. The research is kind of endless in how you can do it, but something that you're doing here will in essence put a leg up on your research opportunity, because the more data you have and the more information you have from a numbers perspective, the clearer it becomes how you should be spending your money to get something.
Yeah. And everything in this space is speculative. Cryptocurrency, everything. I mean, I know, like in the stock world, even the stock world is speculative. Like it's just speculative. Our lives are built around speculations. You know what I mean? Like, so it's very important, especially when we're making investment decisions or really anything, to at least try to, my mantra in all of it is don't believe anything, but try to understand as much as you can. And I think that goes a long way. It's helped me out quite a bit in my life. And I think that that's a very good cornerstone of thought to maneuver through life and just try to, you know what I mean? I'm just paddling a boat in the open sea, you know what I mean? We got involved with the pirates thing, you know what I mean? It's nuts.
There's so many, it's so many, and wherever it's heading, if it pops or if it flourishes, I think something that is worth noting is like somehow there's a community still. Yep. And if you can immerse yourself in that community and you can be comfortable, let's say, losing, however you look at it, if that's you got the wrong NFT or you lost money or the whole thing just explodes badly, like at least you know that you're immersed with other people that are like-minded like you. And I think that's like kind of a gift that Gary's given us. Yeah. Is he's kind of brought us all together in a very positive way. And I think you can find very negative situations on servers, but you could also find very positive experiences too if you really are positive, looking out positively toward that.
And let's face it, it's so much fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's so much fun.
It's great.
It's so much fun. Like to give you an idea, a funny story, the pickle thing yesterday, I legitimately had pickle FOMO, because I was like, I saw it the night before, and then I didn't even look at it, because I'm like, I looked at it, I'm like, oh, okay, it's basically it's Yeti, but it's like a pickle. And it's like, it's and I just popped onto the Pirates thing, and it's like, I already have Bored Ape FOMO, and yesterday also is, and actually I'll get into that later, but the pickle FOMO was so real that I actually asked myself, like, how did I get here? You know what I mean? Like, how did I get here? And it's fun. Like, it's super fun, man. It really is. But it all goes back to, again, it's like, we gotta sometimes just like pump the brakes a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're gonna just be pulling our hair out and just like.
Well, I mean, we've missed a few things, and in hindsight, we've sort of said, you know what, it's kind of okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for a moment, we're like, oh no, we missed the gutter cats. That would have been good today, but now you look at it, or the Dream Loops thing. That was
the dream
That
moves
was
thing.
an unfortunate disaster where gas prices really prevented us from getting it, and actually saved us a lot of money in the end.
Dude, we were trying to get in that thing so hard. I remember we were talking about it in the clubhouse. I was trying to get off of the clubhouse, but I couldn't, because it's like I'm just so glued. And then it's like the experience is so much fun though, you know?
It's fun for, I think, people who are deep in it. I think if you're just getting started, these tactics that we're hopefully going to be sharing through our stories to teach people how to figure out how to get started in this is like, well, no. You don't want to jump in the clubhouse and be told, oh my God, this whole thing's happening. The FOMO is raving, and like, you don't, no. You want to stay away from that if you're just getting into this,
Yeah.
because you could just unfortunately spend a lot and lose a lot.
Yeah, they call it holding the bag. And the thing, and look, it's like a lot of us are new. It's very noisy. I would consider myself fairly new as well. Not an expert at any of this, but again, it's like we all have to try to approach this smart. And there's a lot of people out there that are trying to rise up to a VeeFriend, and they're watching everything going on, and it's like
very ambitious.
Oh man, it's just wild. But
it's very ambitious, and I think unless you're liquidating other assets you have in your life, which I'm not saying people should or shouldn't do, but I know people did liquidate assets to get VeeFriends in the first place. Yeah. If you're able to do that, then that's your decision. But like, to think that you can start fresh and from scratch and get to 4 Ethereum right now to clear a floor, if you don't have anything in your wallet already, then it's just ambitious and possibly, I'm not going to say foolish, but it's not going to be easy.
The crazy,
I mean, unless you win this pirate treasure hunt and you get these special pirates that they're giving away with like 10 Ethereum or whatever it is.
I think one was listed for 2.
One was listed for 10 also, I saw.
One was listed for 10. But it doesn't mean anything unless if it sells. You know what I mean? Like I could list that thing for 9 million. You know what I mean?
Right, but we have no idea what their plans are. You might be able to trade it in for Ethereum. That's another thing with these projects. If you're not doing your research, you kind of just hear on the surface area of what's going on. And you're like, oh, if I get the right pirate, I'll be able to flip it, or I get the right Yeti, I'll be able to flip it. And then people pop, open up all their packs of cards, and they're all commons. And all of a sudden, what you paid 0.1 Ethereum for is now being listed for 0.05.
Yeah.
You've lost half your investment.
Yeah.
And maybe you want to do that. Maybe you want to scratch back all the money. Like at least I get half my investment back, and you feel better about that. But
yeah, I mean, it's speculation. There's a lot of risk. We have to understand the risk, and we have to understand, like, just like when you look at a stock chart, it does this. It's doing this. It ebbs and flows. And what we're going to see, even with all of these NFTs, there's going to be high times, low times. It just, it's a wild ride. Dude, did you see the Bored Apes thing with the so all Bored Ape holders yesterday, it started, and it's going on for a week. Everyone that holds a Bored Ape basically connects their wallet to the thing and gets a dog, which is a Bored Ape Yacht Club dog. They call it the Kennel Club. Talk about value, dude. Talk about value. What that is basically they're just saying to the world, like, hey guys, Bored Ape, and we know that community is super strong. So they're just basically saying, hey guys, all you guys, and it's not like it was on the roadmap. I don't think it was on the roadmap. It just kind of popped up out of like nowhere. You know what I mean? But they're like basically saying, hey guys, you hold an ape? Well, guess what? Connect your wallet over here, prove you have the ape, and you get a dog, mystery dog, right? Kind of like the pickle thing or the Yeti thing.
God.
And basically it's like, the way that I see it is they're basically telling the world, like, we're just going to continuously provide extra value. Like they're basically just giving them free money if they want it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Right.
Hold the dog, flip the dog, whatever. But thanks for being an ape holder. Thanks for being in the ape club. Like, tell me that doesn't, like, that gives me ridiculous.
I mean, it's called a club. It's called a club for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, that is so.
Like Gary calls these VeeFriends. Like, we're friends now. You get it?
Of course. Yeah. No, legit.
Dude,
it's legit. So sick. it's so sick, dude. I'm so bullish on the future, man. We talk about this
absolutely
all the time, and it's like, you know me, I mean, super bullish on the future, dude. This was awesome. What do you
This is
think?
great.
It's pretty
I
cool,
think
right?
we will keep going at it. And if people have any suggestions or questions that they'd like to ask, they should just drop it in the comments section and let us know, and we'll look to raising your comments to the floor of the program.
I mean, we got to come up with at least some sort of a schedule or something, because you're on the other side of the world. You're a family man. I'm on this side of the world. I'm a family man, but we'll figure it all out, man. But this was super awesome. And
I'll be sure to set my 4 a.m. alarm to have
oh no, I mean, the
no
thing is, I don't
snooze.
want it to be like work
No,
either.
I'm kidding.
You know what I mean? Because then it's like a chore. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be a chore. I want it to be fun. Like, you know, this was a lot of fun. I really
I love this.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, this is super awesome.
We've got a lot more to talk about still.
Oh, there's so much. There's so much because there's so much. There's just so much. It's like abundance, right? We talk about abundance.
It's crazy.
Man, I gotta like.
These are like what's so funny is like this is what we're dealing.
I know,
this is the reality. It's like
I know.
Talk about living in the best of times.
Yeah,
like 2021. Who would have thought?
Dude, if anybody
NFTs.
ever asked me like 3 months ago that I would be like into NFTs or anything, it's like I would think you're a crazy person. But the more that I'm like in this, and especially VeeFriends, because to me, and I'm sure to you, that's the pinnacle. You know what I mean? Like that's the pinnacle. Everything else is like, all right, this is kind of cool. You know what I mean? But
it's a game.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And then all these little pop-up communities and the camel, like MasterBuzz, shout out to MasterBuzz and everything that they're doing. If you don't know anything about it, at least put eyes on it. You know, shout out to camels and my camel FOMO. And I know
I'm happy to have a camel. I had missed out getting a camel, and I missed out getting an ape too. And I'll share my story one day why I missed out on getting an ape. But
yeah,
that ship sailed. That's another, like, if we got to end the show now or whatnot, but like people should recognize that like it's okay that things sail away. Like you can't have it all, and if you miss it, it's okay. There's going to be something tomorrow. You're going to go to sleep and you're going to wake up and there's something absolutely new and fresh to get your brain all scrambled up about.
Yeah, dude, it's cool. But yeah, again, back to what you were saying, if there's any questions, comments, concerns, if you have any question asked, I mean, it would be super cool to like do Q&As and just do like have a couple people on where we're all just chatting it up about stuff. And I mean, this is the best, man. We live in the best of times, man.
That's right.
So
good. Until next time.
Bye. This was awesome.
Talk to you soon.
See ya.